change on the calendar to the month of March today, Keith, but it feels like we went back to January deep freeze instead.
It does, but there's something about saying we're in March, right? There's some optimistic.
Yes, you're right. It's a state of mind so far.
Right.
Nothing else.
The sun angle helps. But yeah, as far as the weather, we haven't seen much March weather, starting off on a cold note, and currently temperatures are in the 20s. We started below zero in a lot of spots this morning, so relative to that, we're doing pretty well. But you know, our average high is 36 or so this time of the year, and we're not near that. Probably aren't going to get there in most spots. All right, here's our clipper. Tell me if you can find any real center of circulation or any real development here. It's just scattered about from Toronto back to about Oxford County, and this first band is going to encounter a little resistance in the form of low-level dry air. You know, one of the factors when you get really cold is the dew point drops. It's really very dry, and so that means that the initial edge of this is probably going to get kind of eaten away by that drier air. Eventually, the column will saturate and we'll see that light snow moving in. This is probably not a hole here in the Northeast Kingdom. This is a radar problem between Burlington's radar and the radar out of Gray, Maine. There's a hole in there. All right, so as far as where we're seeing the most accumulation tonight and early tomorrow, this is where the National Weather Service has issued winter weather advisories. And I think Bangor could be, you could argue, could be included in that, where they're likely to see enough snow to make things interesting late tonight. So eventually the snow wins out over the dry air, and we start to develop light snow later this afternoon into this evening. The heaviest part of this over southern Maine is probably 8 to 10 p.m. or so after the commute. And then we actually get just enough warm air right along the coast to get some mixing with rain. So that keeps snowfall totals down along the coastline from Wiscasset to Rockland and Bar Harbor eventually. And notice Bangor is involved in the snow through the entire time period overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. The system does move out for tomorrow morning's commute. Temperatures start to rise into the 30s. It's a nice bright day tomorrow. And then another clipper comes through on Wednesday night, Thursday. This briefly looked like it would have a little bit more juice than the one tonight, but that kind of got backed off by the models, and it looks like it's just another light shot of an inch or so of snow overnight Wednesday into early Thursday. It too, though, should be largely out of here in time for the morning commute, and that's going to be good news. Back to some sunshine on Thursday afternoon. So, you know, I think coating to 2 inches seems fair. 2 to 4 or 5. Todd and I were talking back and forth about, you know, the chances of the 5, but I think that 2 to 4 or so seems right into Bangor, into parts of down East Maine. After that, we have a quiet day on Saturday, and then things get a little bit more interesting on Sunday, where we could get into a mixed precipitation event, either sleet or freezing rain, as we've got cold air at the surface, warmer air aloft. Eventually, we should change over to rain on Sunday night. Could have another potential mix and rainstorm on Monday. So it gets a little messy into late in the weekend, into next week. We'll keep an eye on what exactly that ends up looking like, but that's a little bit more what you might, you know, expect in March. Not that we don't have good snowstorms in March, we certainly do, but those mixed precip events become more likely as temperatures warm there into the 40s. And I think especially Monday, we could see an all rain event along the immediate coastline, Pat. So, you know, like I said, you can get a real good looking nor'easter in March, but you also start to get more of these rain snow line issues.
Thanks, Keith.